Welcome back, friends. In my previous video we had seen an introduction to the game tree. Game tree basically is a tree that is basically used by the computers to play game against a human player, or sometimes computer player against a computer player. We are discussing about two-ply tree where a game is played between two players. Okay. Now, whenever we play such games like chess, we play the game in turns. So first it is the first player that plays. His aim is to maximize his probability of success. Once he selects a particular move, then the next player, your opponent, will play. Opponent's play will be obviously to minimize your probability of success. So if opponent can just take you down and down and down, if you happen to go to the lowest value of static evaluation function, that means opponent is a winner and you are a loser. Okay, so the static evaluation function that we have considered in this particular example is that the range given here we have taken here is from -10 to 10. So if you reach a node with value 10, that means max player has won and min player loses. Okay, if you are able to reach -10, the most negative number, then mean player wins and max player loses. And if it is 0, then it means draw. So all these values are somewhere near to maximum or somewhere near to the minimum values in the range, or sometimes or here you see, if you reach node G, it's a draw condition. Okay, so since the game is played in turns, it's very necessary to understand how this game works. Okay, now whenever we play chess, okay, if you are playing the chess for the first time, okay, you may not be able to oversee few steps in advance. You may not be able to overlook some steps in advance, but it is indeed proven that if a chess player can foresee some 2 or 3 steps in advance, then he can make a better move. Okay, which comes through experience, right? So let's start by playing the simple game. Okay, so initially A is the node. Okay, one more thing which I want to tell you, what happens is how these game trees are designed. It's basically a two-way process. Game playing is a two-step process. In the first step, what happens is the game programmers, they experimentally play the game n number of times and they come up with a game tree, and this huge game tree is fed into the computer. Okay, the values of static evaluation function that we have written here, these are purely based on the experience by playing the game over and over again. Okay, so what happens is in the computer's knowledge base, this game tree which is constructed by the programmer is already stored. The entire huge game tree. What we see here is just a section of that game tree. And now when the computer plays game against you, see how easy it is for the computer, because computer already has this reference game tree in the knowledge base. So whenever it is going to make some moves, it has to only refer the game tree which is already present in the knowledge base, and accordingly it can make move. So playing games for computers is much easier than for you to play the game. Okay, so before we start solving, let us assume that this particular game tree is already there in the knowledge base of the computer, and now computer is playing the game. Okay, so initially assume that computer player is a max player. Initially A is the node, so it is max player's turn. Okay, and then assume that so we have already seen that there are two functions, moveGen function, static function. So moveGen function, when it is applied to this particular node, it realizes that there are 3 child nodes of A. One is B with assume that the static evaluation function of B is 8. One is C, and assume that the static evaluation function value of C is 3, and the third node is D, whose static evaluation function is -2. Let us assume that. So initially when the max player, the computer player, when he starts playing the game, he sees that there are 3 intermediate nodes or 3 possible moves that he can make, and it also sees that okay, if I choose a move that takes you to state B, then the advantage that I'm going to get is 8. If I choose C, advantage will be 3. If I choose D, advantage will be -2. Since it is max player, his aim is to choose the that node which has maximum heuristic function value or static evaluation function value. So out of 8, 3 and -2, which is maximum? 8 is maximum, and that's why it decides that I'm going to go for B. Okay, so this is a move that computer makes without foreseeing steps in advance. Has the computer considered what will happen next, what move the min player is going to play next if I select this particular node? No, it has not foreseen it, right? Now let's see what can happen in this case. Okay, now once you select B, okay, then it's a min player's turn. Okay, also note that by selecting B, once node B is selected, its value 8 is backed up to its parent. So A gets backup value as 8. Okay, A gets an advantage of 8 units if you select B, right? Now min player has to start from here. Okay, now assume that, okay, when the tree, just see the tree which is there in the knowledge base. B further has node E, node F and node G, right, with the static evaluation function value 9, -6 and 0. Okay, so mean player at B, when moveGen function is applied to it, it generates 3 nodes, 3 possible nodes. Okay, and with the corresponding the static function is going to generate the corresponding goodness values. Okay, now since the aim of min player is to minimize, out of these 3 nodes it is going to select that node which gives the minimum value of goodness. So minimum with respect to the max player, right? So out of this, it's obvious that it is going to select F with value -6. So once it selects F, the value that is backed up here at B will be -6. Okay, and now after min player playing this particular step, max player definitely realizes that yes, I had made a wrong move. My decision of selecting B, okay, because it was giving me advantage of 8 without foreseeing the further step, was wrong. Because now it realizes that after I select B, from here when min player plays, the min player gives a backup value of -6, and -6 is very costly for max player. Compare these values 3 and 2, right? Okay, now let us come back here. Okay, if the max player here, if it had foreseen one step in advance, what would have happened? For node C, it would have realized that mean player at C would have then chosen H, and out of H and I, it would have chosen -2, correct? So the backup value that it would have got here is -2. Okay, and suppose instead of choosing C, suppose it had chosen D. Okay, so suppose max player had chosen D, then forcing one step in advance, it realizes that from here the mean player from D, it has 2 nodes J and K, and out of these 2, mean player would have chosen the minimum, that is -4, right? Now currently, now that B is chosen, okay, and the value backed up here is -6, okay, max player definitely realizes that my decision of choosing B without foreseeing the further circumstances was definitely wrong, because by choosing B, now the backup value that I get at B is -6, but if I had chosen C, the backup value that I get is -2. If I choose D, the backup value that I get is -4. So out of -6, -2, -4, although all 3 are negative, still -2 is nearer to the positive value. right? So if node C was selected, okay, max player would have been able to restrain the min player from taking him away from his success. Okay, when it realizes this, only after forcing one step in advance. Okay, but if max player does not foresee one step in advance, it would not be able to make this decision. Okay, and then it has to repent, right? So the same scenario is adapted by the min-max algorithm. So in min-max algorithm, whenever max or min player, whenever they confirm a particular move, before doing that they have to oversee or overlook one step or two steps in advance. So let us assume that it oversees one step in advance. Okay, so in the real scenario, how min-max game will be played. Okay, so this is the initial node A, it was max player's turn. Okay, B, C and D are the child nodes, right? This gives you E, F, G with value 9, minus 6 and 0. C gives H and I with corresponding values as 8 and minus 2, and this is J and K with corresponding values as minus 4 and minus 3. So now I will show you how exactly it works. Okay, so first this is max player. Okay, I am showing you how min-max algorithm now works. This is a max player, this is a min player, right? So how max player decides which is the right node to be considered. Okay, so I told you this is first depth limited search, so from here it comes here. Okay, now at this level, okay, it sees that as we have seen earlier, okay, node B has value 8, node C has value 3, node D is value minus 2, but it does not directly confirms the final answer based on only the next level. It foresees one more level in advance so that this entire tree is visible to it. Okay, so now it does the calculation in this manner. Okay, max player thinks, okay, what if I choose B? What will happen next? Okay, min player is going to play further. Now, if min player plays, if I select this node, then out of 9 minus 6 0, min player would give me backup value minus 6. Okay, then max player says, okay, what if I choose this node? If I choose this node, then what advantage min player can get from here? So out of 8 and minus 2, min player is going to give the advantage of minus 2. Then it says, okay, if I select this node, then what advantage I would get here? Okay, out of minus 4, minus 3, min player will select the minimum, that is minus 4, minus 4. So after overseeing or overlooking one step in advance, now max player realizes that if I choose B, the value that is backed up here to me is minus 6. If I choose C, the value is minus 2. If I choose D, the value backed up is minus 4. So it is better that I go for node C, because although all three values are negative, minus 2 is it is higher compared to minus 6 and minus 4, right? So after overlooking one step in advance, after doing this calculation, max player finally considers, okay, I am going to go for this node, right? This is one iteration, this is one move calculation which min-max algorithm does for one move of max player. Next it is min player's turn. Min player will again start from here, okay, from here, but at this point here min player sees that there are only two nodes available, H and I. Okay, but it does not directly make the judgment based on the values of 8 and H and I, that is 8 and minus 2. It again overlooks one step in advance. Okay, so maybe it overlooks one more step in advance, and based on that it decides which move to confirm, and so on. So this is how the min-max game is going to be played. Okay, thank you.